It is a dark age, a bloody age, an age of demons and of sorcery. It is an age of battle and death, and of the ending of the world. Amidst all of the fire, flame, and fury, it is also a time of mighty heroes, bold deeds, and great courage. Hello everyone, Caledorn here, and welcome to this introductory episode on Warhammer Fantasy lore, where I will give a brief summary of the major nations of the unnamed planet that serves as the setting of Warhammer Fantasy. This is an experiment for now to see if there is interest in such a series, and if there is a huge world that we will explore together where I talk about the lore of Warhammer Fantasy. Before I begin, I would like to thank all of the people and contributors who are working tirelessly at the Warhammer Fantasy wiki, gathering all the lore in one large encyclopedia. Much of the things that I will be talking about in this series come from the wiki, as that seriously saves time for me in terms of doing research and writing things from memory. I have been interested in Warhammer Fantasy for more than 20 years now, but I still learn new things about the lore, and the wiki is a great place to read. Warhammer Fantasy is often considered to be centered around the old world, which is this part of the world. And at the heart of the old world, we find the Empire, the largest and the most powerful of the human realms. Known for its engineers, sorcerers, traders, and soldiers, it is a land of great mountains, mighty rivers, dark forests, and vast cities. And at the heart of it all is the mighty city of Altdorf, where Emperor Karl Franz, first of his name, reigns, and he is the sacred descendant of the founder of these lands, Sigmar. But these are far from civilized times. Across the length and breadth of the old world, from the knightly palaces of Bretonnia to the icebound realm of Kislev in the far north, come rumblings of war. In the towering World's Edge Mountains, the orc tribes are gathering their wargs for another assault. Bandits and renegades harry the wild southern lands of the border princes. Deep beneath cities, in catacombs and undercities, the ratmen known as the Skaven are emerging from the sewers across the land. And from the northern wilderness, there is the ever-present threat of chaos, with their hordes of marauders, chaos warriors, demons, and beastmen, all corrupted by the foul powers of the dark gods of chaos. As the time of battle draws near, the Empire needs heroes like never before. The Empire was founded more than 2,500 years ago by Sigmar, a legendary warrior who has ascended to godhood and who is the patron deity of the Empire. It is the largest and most powerful human nation of the old world. It is such a vast land that law cannot reach all of the hidden recesses of its dark forests and impenetrable mountain ranges. Their borders are frequently raided by orcs, and the influence of the Chaos Gods reach deep inside the lands, with Chaos worshippers forming cults in secrecy. These and other enemies, both internal and external, must be defeated by the armies of Emperor Karl Franz if his realm is to survive. The realm of Bretonnia borders the Empire in the west. Bretonnia is a land of chivalry, valor, and honor, and the Knights of Bretonnia are feared and respected throughout the world. In the name of the Lady of the Lake, and for the glory of Duke and King, they sweep aside evil on the field of battle, for none can stand against their glorious charge. Bretonnia is a feudal and traditional land of knights and peasants. The knights live by a strict series of vows that uphold the virtues of honor and chivalry. To lose honor is just about the worst thing imaginable to a true knight of Bretonnia, who would rather die with honor than live without it. The Bretonnian society is based around the upholding of the honor of the self, the king, and their goddess, the Lady of the Lake. The peasants serve the knights in return for their protection, while the knights are bound by honor to provide military assistance for their lords in return for rights like owning lands, levy taxes, and so forth. The Bretonnian nobility consists of barons, earls, and dukes, and at the top of the hierarchy reigns King Lewin Leoncoeur, from his seat of power in the Duchy of Couronne. On the continent of Ulthuan, we will find the ancient, proud, and noble race known as the High Elves. Had to find it there. As the primitive races of man, or primitive tribes of man, fought amongst themselves, the High Elves navigated the oceans and mapped the heavens. They have watched empires rise and fall, and ferociously repel all who seek to conquer their homeland. The High Elves are true masters of magic, and count among them some of the greatest wielders of magic who have ever walked among mortals. But the High Elves are not only masters of magic, they have honed their martial prowess too, and are masterful tacticians. Proud, haughty, and graceful, the High Elven armies are well organized, and they march to war in perfect unity, armored in their strong scale coats while wielding fine weapons of the highest quality. In the distant lands of Naggaroth, the Witch King Malekith reigns by striking terror into the heart of every other race of the world. Cold and heartless, driven by pure hate, the Dark Elves send their armies out to enslave thousands, while every day hundreds of captives are sacrificed on the altars to the dark god Cain, lord of murder. Meanwhile, back in the old world, the Wood Elves reside deep inside the forests of Athel Loren. They are mysterious and secretive beings, rarely seen beyond their forest borders. Those foolish enough to set foot within their woodland realm invite the fury of the Wood Elves and their forest spirit allies, and are rarely heard from again. The Wood Elves have been likened to a force of nature, being seen neither as good nor evil. Like a placid lake, they can appear serene, beautiful, and enchanting, or as frightening and destructive as a storm. Ever watchful and vigilant, they guard Athel Loren ceaselessly. Even those who enter with no ill will intent are regarded with suspicion and resentment, and will often come to a bad end. The Wood Elves have a distinct lack of interest in the goings-on of the world outside of the forest, and care little for those who are not of their own. The Dwarves are one of the most ancient races, and without comparison the most tenacious and determined warriors of the world. Their mountain holds are under constant pressure from orcs, goblins, and Skaven, so the dwarves must constantly defend their homes. From the beginning of time, their traditional homeland has been the World's Edge Mountains, a vast forbidding chain of mountains that marks the eastern boundary of the Old World. At the height of the Dwarven Empire, their realm spread from the far north to the distant south, while their mines stretched far beneath the earth itself. Those days of glory are now long gone though, and many strongholds that used to bustle with life now either lies in ruins or are occupied by sinister and evil creatures. Dwarves are supremely skilled craftsmen who take great pride in everything they do, whether it is forging weapons and armor, the construction of fortifications, or the mechanical inventions of the famous Engineers Guild. No dwarf would ever accept a result that were anything less than of superior quality. No other race, not even the proud High Elves, can rival the care, skill, ingenuity, and technical ability of the dwarves. Long before the rise of the elves, dwarves, or men, The lizardmen existed in the oppressive, steamy depths of the jungles of Lustria and the Southlands, far away from the old world. Alien to the other races of the world, the lizardmen seeks to restore a view of order in the world that was instilled in them by their creators, the Old Ones, before they mysteriously disappeared. The mighty temple cities of the lizardmen rise above the jungles, and there the bloated slan mage priests, masters of magic, attempt to divine the intentions of the long-departed Old Ones. Though the great plan is only revealed in omens and portents, the mage priests do their best to interpret the signs and guide the lizardmen to do the Old Ones' bidding. And now, in the cold wastes of the north, the followers of the gods of the chaos gather in their thousands. Hordes of barbaric marauders and armor-clad warriors pour forth from the bleak and barren wastelands to wage war against the soft-bellied wastrels who inhabit the rich lands of the south. Demonic legions advanced with them, proof that the Norsemen are truly the favoured of the gods. There can be no bystanders in this eternal war, for the dark gods and their chosen servants will never rest until the world truly becomes a realm of chaos. Some of the followers of chaos dedicate their worship to one of the particular dark gods, of which there are 4 major powers. Khorne is known as the Blood God and the Lord of Skulls, and he revels in carnage and war. The bloodier, the better. Tzeentch is the changer of the ways and the god of magic, and he seeks to change the world quietly, lurking at the very edges of sanity, biding his time. Nurgle is the god of decay and pestilence, the oldest of the Chaos gods, and the most directly involved with the plight of mortals, taking a particular interest in humans, who he blesses frequently with his virulent plagues and pestilences. And of course Slaanesh, the dark prince and god of decadence and pleasure, ever tempting mortals with the pursuit of earthly gratification and the overthrow of all decent behaviour, as well as hedonism and amoral pleasure for its own sake. Deep underground dwells the evil ratman known as the Skaven. They gnaw at the roots of civilization, eternally scheming and plotting, preparing for the day when their uncountable hordes will overrun the surface world. The only thing that keeps them in check is the constant internal strife between the various Skaven clans. One day, however, the Grey Seers who speak for the Skaven god, the Great Horned Rat, will unify the Skaven and lead them to inevitable victory. The tunnels of their vast under-empire reach from the steaming jungles of the Southlands to the snow-covered steppes of Kislev, from the western borders of Estalia and Bretonnia to the lost realms of the Far East. Their capital is the mysterious city of Skavenblight, hidden in the centres of the foul marshes lying on the western borders of Tilea. There, the mighty Lords of Decay form the Council of 13, the ruling body of the Skaven, scheming and plotting for the time when their armies will emerge from the subterranean to raise the entire surface of the world. In every forest and under every mountain lurk the warlike tribes of the greenskins. Countless orcs, goblins, snotlings and their various pets who love nothing more than a good fight. They raid, burn and destroy everything they come across. And if there's no one else to fight, they will happily start fighting one another. Orcs and goblins are related, green-skinned, warlike species that band together in crude camps and villages in the rugged wilderness regions all over the old world and beyond. When they get particularly eager for a fight, they will band together into massive forces called wargs and march forth to do battle with anyone unfortunate enough to cross their paths. Long before the old world was civilized, this land was divided into city-states, each ruled by its own king and defended by its own army. Over the centuries, the power-hungry kings, frustrated by their short lifespans, started seeking out ways to prolong their lives. Although true immortality eluded them, the rulers of Nehekhara came to believe that if they preserved the bodies of the dead, powerful magic could one day revive them and they could return to power. Elaborate tombs and pyramids were constructed to protect both the remains of these dead monarchs and their treasures. One day, however, an ambitious priest-king of Nehekhara known as Nagash changed everything. Nagash tapped into dark magics and raised a powerful host of undead warriors, which he then unleashed upon the other Nehekharan priest-kings. The priest-kings eventually defeated his army, but Nagash himself escaped to plot his revenge. Ultimately, he released a great spell so powerful that the entire Nehekharan civilization was turned into a desert wasteland of dead. But there was one unforeseen result of his great spell. The entombed priest-kings were reanimated by the spells, and the vast armies that had been buried together with them also came to life once again, as ready in undeath as in life to defend their rulers. Thus, the rulers who had been long dead were indeed inferred with the gift of immortality, but as skeletal, mummified parodies of what they once looked like. And the Nehekharan realms of the Tomb Kings were born. Aided by the powerful magically adept Liche priests, they fielded formidable armies of undead and animated troops and monsters. Finally, from their castles and towers we have the vampires. Immortal rulers of the evil undead who raise legions of undead warriors to serve them. The vampire counts march against each and every race of the world, tirelessly seeking blood and dominion. There are 5 major types of vampires known in the world, of which probably the most notable current bloodline is the von Carstein bloodline. Ruling from the province of Sylvania in the Old World, the armies of the von Carstein family repeatedly attacks the lands of men, and have even on a few occasions come very close to conquering the empire itself. And with that, we are at the end of this first episode in what might very well become a very long series, going into the depth on many topics and subjects in the Warhammer Fantasy lore. I decided to use Total War Warhammer 2 in Immortal Empire's campaign to show off the locations of the world where the various races are living in this video, and to have some music in the background too. If you enjoyed this episode, I would welcome suggestions for where to continue, and if you have any particular suggestions for what I can use as backdrops to the videos, if you feel that Total War Warhammer 2 is not the best backdrop, please let me know. I have thought that perhaps doing an in-depth video on each of the races might be a good place to continue, but perhaps there are other things that I should talk about first. Also, this will not be a daily episode thing, as I need to write scripts for the episodes and think about backdrops and music as well. But I believe that publishing a few episodes every month, depending of course on how this is received by you, my audience, is a good plan for now. So with that, thank you all so much for joining me, and please leave any comments, questions and feedback in the comments section, and I will do my very best to respond. See you all next time.